Hello and welcome. My name is Mark Banfield. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer here at TeamViewer, and welcome to Work in Progress, which is our digital workplace talk. And we're launching it today as our inaugural first episode. And we thought for our first guest, well, let's start from the top. So we have Oliver Steil, who is
Hi.
the CEO.
Thank you, Mark. Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. Well, we see each other every day, but it's nice to talk on
In
camera.
your talk.
Yes, exactly. So let's start by talking about a couple of topics and delving into this whole area of digital workplace. But there's a huge shift happening in the market. There's a lot of momentum around this term digital workplace. When you talk about some of the trends you're seeing, so what's happening? What's driving this?
I think what we've seen over the last, I would say, years, clearly after COVID, is that now companies realize what type of infrastructure and setup they have built during COVID.
Yeah.
They had to cater for remote work. They had to cater for very different job profiles.
Yeah.
So they have more devices, more pieces of software, more applications in a very dispersed, heterogeneous setup for the most part of it. They also had to extend the remote working idea into operational environments like retail, like logistics, like production. So the setup is much more complicated. The expectations of the employees are much higher. The need for productivity is much higher. And therefore, if you need to manage this, you start to think much more about, okay, this is a digital workplace as a concept, and how do I optimize this? And that's what we're seeing really IT departments and CIOs wrestling with.
Yeah. And I mean, for us at TeamViewer, of course, we have a pretty broad view of the digital workplace. I mean, some people look at it from an employee perspective, and we absolutely do. But for us, it's, as you mentioned, OT, but things like frontline. This is broader from a TeamViewer perspective, how we think about the scope of it.
Yeah, I think it gets even more, say, momentum now because of the whole idea of use of AI in different parts of the organization. And I think that is an even bigger progress on productivity improvements if you can use AI. So now you can use AI in the software world, in the knowledge worker world, or you can use AI at some point, hopefully in the physical world more and more. But you can only use AI for what is digital and what has been digitalized before. So you need to get the data and you need to get the process in a digital flow, so to say, and you need to do that across organizational boundaries because the process starts in the headquarter, in the back office, using ERP systems or service management systems, and then it goes all the way through the company and hits the frontline worker. And we believe, as TeamViewer, strongly that if you're not able to connect the two pieces and kind of go across boundaries and have a full digital process, you will not be able to fully digitalize and then fully use AI to its potential. And that's why we're focusing so much on get workflows going in its entirety and not just pieces of it in isolated function in an organization. I think that's really the key and the paradigm shift that we see.
Yeah, it definitely is shifting. And one of the things I know that you and me, we spend a lot of time with customers, talking to customers, and increasingly speak to C-level, CIOs, CEOs. This is a boardroom topic. I mean, because the digital workplace is every workplace.
It's everywhere workplace, as you say. It touches different parts of the organization. B, the value really comes through if you are holistically looking at your organization. So you don't want that decision or that consideration to be taken by departmental leaders or functional leaders. Not only, at least, you want to have an oversight. You want to make it a company priority to change the concept, because it's also a pretty far-reaching concept, right? Because you then put the intelligence at an endpoint in a device. If you have 600,000 devices, if you're a large global multinational all over the world, that is a fundamental shift how you run your business and how you want to make sure the workplace is perfect for your employees. And that is a decision that you need to take from the top with commitment from the top, because then you get the huge benefit out of it. So it is really changing also. I think it has put the idea of IT automation, improvements, frictionless work. It's elevating this concept by making it much more proactive in nature.
Yeah, and I think that over the last 10 years, where there has been this big shift in digital transformation, a lot of companies focused heavily on digitizing the customer experience. I mean, think of a financial service bank. I mean, no one goes into bank branches anymore. They use an app. But actually, it feels like the transformation for employees was somewhat lagging behind. And I think that's now what we're seeing with the drive of automation. There's a real trend there.
Yes, I think it's a refocus on the internal processes, which is absolutely needed. It's also the area where, I mean, what was the reason to focus so much on the customer experience is really get more efficient, get faster, and also allow for more self-serve.
Yeah.
That concept, okay, more efficient, faster, more self-serve. Companies are now applying to their employee to workforce because they have a shortage of labor. They need to fight for the best talent. They need to keep them. When they have it, they should be happy every day when they work with the infrastructure. And it's an important topic because they're working for a top brand company maybe, and they don't want to wake up in the morning, go to their workplace, even maybe it's at home. And then it's a bad experience. They don't want that. And good brands can't have that. And therefore, I think it's the leading brands, the leading customers that we work with that are first doing this motion.
They get it. They realize the need to transform. And and I think also, as you mentioned earlier, there is this evolving expectation. I mean, our children all have very high expectations from technology. It works first time, every time, is flawless, is frictionless. And in the workplace, they expect the same frictionless experience.
Yes, I think it's it's really come about with using tablets, smartphones in the private environment, right? You used to apps, you used to app flows. And as a good example, if you take our frontline product, how the frontline product is modeling and showing workflows totally for frontline workers. So you have a technician out there repairing something, doing maintenance work. I don't know, Chimbali, coffee machines somewhere in the world, not working perfectly. Now you need to have a service technician work on this, and that service technician gets a workflow. The expectation is that workflow is as easy to understand, as easy, almost also as modern and cool as if you use your travel app or whatever app on your iPhone at home. Right? The technician wouldn't understand why in his environment it's paper-based or it's a clunky back office application that has a user interface which is terrible, difficult to use. No, they want this app flow, step-by-step, widget-based, check marks, feedback loops, and that's what's coming into play more and more, and that's what we're building, both on the IT and OT side.
That's great. It's great. And when we think about what we're doing here at TeamViewer, and obviously we've had this big integration recently of 1E becoming part of TeamViewer, and we're working heavily on lots of integrations and strategies and marketing and go-to-market activities. But when we think about how we're uniquely positioned to meet these expectations, just give us your kind of view on that and the vision of how we do that.
Yes. There's several things that come to play. One is, I mean, you should all understand, I think DEX is a very new concept. So being much more proactive, automation on the endpoint is a new concept. So companies need to transform really. But as I said before, the value is really in if you can kind of deploy it across the whole organization. And once you want to deploy across the whole organization, you need to make it ready and fit for purpose for the IT experts working with this. This is where TeamViewer is coming from, 1E is coming from. So we know what the IT professionals do with and how they want to run it. But at the same time, you need to understand the receiving end of it, because the employees that you're touching are working in very different departments, and they come from very different domains. So there might be people working on shop floors or in retail logistics, and in order to make it work, I think it's incredibly important and helpful if you have experience in all these different domains. And when we talk to customers, most of the time, we go far beyond an IT problem. We go and talk about processes and value being created in different parts of the organization. And for that, it's important that you can touch the different operational areas as well, which we can, because we have the frontline suite, we have the IoT suite, we have in enabling processes in all kinds of industrial customers. So that's clearly one element, the domain knowledge, the sector knowledge. And I think the second piece is to really also understand the opportunities for automation, but also the limits for automation. So when is the moment when somebody needs to actively work on some problem? So a human being needs to take care of a problem where automation wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And I think that's also important to be honest and clear about where are the boundaries today and maybe tomorrow and in a few years' time, but always making sure that we cover all of it out of one platform. So we are not the ones telling you as a customer everything is possible to be automated, because that's a dream.
Yeah.
But we're also not telling you, well, every time there's a problem, you need a ticket and you need a technician or a professional working on it. No, that's also not true.
Yeah.
So, and finding the right balance of what should be automated versus what should be manual, and where do you want to have checks and balances, reactive versus proactive. I think we can be super credible because we have it all. And that's what I think customers value, because it's almost like a neutral advice in this respect.
And I think that certainly when I got to know you and we talked about the companies coming together, I mean, the thing that excited me was, in the end, the data's key. Like, if you have the data, that you can achieve the most.
Yes.
And of course, between the two capabilities, remote control, automation, DEX, we have the greatest telemetry and data, and I think that's key.
Yeah, we have access to, now with the two platforms coming together, we know how the user is perceiving the environment.
Yeah.
We know constantly how the machine is running, how the applications are running. We also know, in case there is an intervention by a technician, we can also see what that technician is doing, has been doing. And from all of what we're seeing there, we can then generate new automations. So we can really kind of elevate, we collect in every single case, in every single incident or adjustment or remediation or manual intervention. We collect the relevant information for that and then synthesize it to make the platform even better. So as we grow in customers and use cases and devices, the platform will become better and better and better and more capable. And I think that's a very interesting promise also for the future, that if you invest into this and be early, you will get all the learnings, all the other customers coming to the platform.
Yeah, that's great. Now, one of the things at TeamViewer, I mean, we have a vast number of customers across all different geographies, globally, all different verticals, different parts of the market, different segments, different sizes. And one of the things we're very passionate about, of course, is the types of use cases that we address. And we're customer obsessed as an organization. And we have so many great examples. Now, you touched upon a couple, but maybe talk about a couple more of some of the great examples you've seen of TeamViewer's technology in action.
Yes. So, as you say, it's broad. It's a broad application of the concept, so to say, and the fun part really starts when you're in customer discussion about certain use case. I mean, you can get carried away with it. But a few examples just to give you the kind of the boundaries, so to say. Big bank, covering all their endpoint devices with One as a product, and constantly monitoring the performance of any endpoint in the environment. Globally, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of devices, which I think is incredibly powerful, purely IT, knowledge worker based. Where is the productivity? The productivity is in avoiding the smallest friction, because any small friction just multiplies 100,000 times around the globe. And you can imagine how much of a productivity drain that is, so to say. So that's one example. Very different example. A service technician with the task to run a retrofit procedure on an aircraft engine somewhere in the world, which is a procedure that has been developed and defined in the headquarter of that company or in the service center of that company, but now it has to be rolled out to all the different MROs globally. And how do you codify that? How do you make it visual? How do you make it easy to understand for people in different languages all over the world? So that's also TeamViewer. A warehouse worker, that logistics worker, a picker in a warehouse that is basically compiling boxes or shipments by picking different pieces and putting them into one box. Where's TeamViewer on this? Step-by-step instruction, AR based on where to go, what to pick, always quality check, has the person really picked the right item, reducing errors, reducing time spent on this. Another example of, think about it, a digital workplace. That job description before that was semi-digital because there was a pick by voice. Pick by voice. So you get voice commands. Now you have everything visual, which means you can track everything. So a very different example. So you go industry by industry, and you see how you can greatly enhance the work experience. And that's what's so exciting about it. Because if you then take a large customer, you will find these different use cases in one customer coming together even.
And we can help them every step of the way as they transform their digital.
They go to the platform, they embark on this idea of workplace digitalization, and then we can really go workplace by workplace. What is important in these use cases, you need to link it back to the system of record. You need to have integration with the back office, the ERP system, the ITSM system, and that's what we do, of course. It's not a standalone kind of solution which sits on the side and is not speaking back and forth with the data in the company. That wouldn't work. And that's why it's an ecosystem play, clearly.
And I think that one of the things we're hearing from customers, I know you hear it a lot, is that, what we're really doing was becoming very strategic for these organizations in terms of driving productivity and efficiency. And and one of the things, I love that term, that you can't create a 3 Michelin star customer experience unless you create a 3 Michelin star employee experience. And everything you talked about there is about creating a better, more seamless, streamlined approach for anyone to do their job.
Yes, I think I think, and that's what the leaders in their respective fields recognize, right? You need to think much more holistically. I think typically companies are pretty good in running project based and say, well, there's a certain element which we need to improve, and we have a certain project to have a digitalization there or automation there. But you need to think it more holistically, because if you're missing part of the chain, either your employee or your customer or a partner in between, third-party service provider, if that is not seamless, then you cannot realize the value, and then you're stuck halfway in a digital transformation. And I think that's, to be honest, a little bit the experience of many companies in the past. They tried a little bit, then you don't see the benefits. It doesn't work perfectly, and then these digitalization projects stalled in some industries. And I think that was also the reason, especially in an economy where the pressure to change is not that big like it was years ago. Then nothing is moving. Now the world is changing. The world we're living, we need to automate. We need to be more efficient. We need to have resilient supply chain, so we need to address it. And now is the time where companies really embrace it and do the required investment with a, as you say, with very much strategic top-down view.
So maybe lastly, just thinking about the future, of course. I mean, we're busy here working on this vision. We're excited about it. I mean, the excitement is palpable across the company in terms of the opportunity we see around this digital workplace movement. When we think about TeamViewer's future, our platform, how we're bringing that to market, maybe touch upon like some of the things you see.
Yeah, so I think I truly believe we're uniquely positioned to really cover very different industry segments because we have experience in the different segments. We learn from different use cases, different segments, and we feed it back into the platform. So our platform becomes stronger and more powerful. So we have the proactive endpoint management, DEX. We have the TeamViewer remote control. We have remote management. I'm pretty sure we will very soon add additional functionalities to that platform, be it through our own development partnership or maybe even additional smaller acquisitions. So this will become more of a platform. That platform will cover all kinds of endpoints. We are always endpoint agnostic. It will cover different industries and different use cases. And I think that makes it powerful. And then I think what we shouldn't forget is the regional component and also the customer segments. The 1E is incredibly strong in the United States. Much of the DEX movement or digital workplace movement started out in the US, but it's now forcefully moving towards Europe and Asia Pac. We've been very strong in the US, so we can roll out the concept and the ideas and the learnings globally. And we're very strong on enterprise, both TeamViewer 1E and together even more. It's a very significant enterprise business. But then if you think about it, TeamViewer has 640,000 SMB customers, smaller customers. who are currently not exposed to DEX at all, and we will bring parts of this DEX concept down market. Maybe down market is the wrong word, but make it palatable and usable also for smaller organizations in a more self-service way. And I think it's huge potential for us as a company, but also for our customers to use the essentials of something like a digital workplace experience also in smaller environments.
Yeah, that's the thing I must say I'm very excited about. I mean, that the opportunity to bring that capability, not just, as you say, to the smaller businesses where there hasn't been the opportunity to use that technology, but also globally. I mean, I've been traveling the world with you and Japan recently and Australia and so on and so forth. And I mean, it's amazing. It's a great opportunity for us to bring that, and because we're everywhere and we have that. Look, thank you very much for starting this new show that we're doing, and it was very good to talk to you. Enjoyed the conversation, and we will say thank you, and we will please put questions in. If you have questions, we'll answer them. Tell us what else you'd like to hear about, who else you'd like to see on this. We hope you found it entertaining, and see you again soon. Thank you.